Hi everyone and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to do a lower body mobility routine. I get a lot of questions on what type of stretches people can do as regards to what their lifestyle looks like. If you do sit a lot, your hamstrings are going to be really tight, so of course you want to stretch them quite regular, otherwise you can end up with a lot of problems down the line, hip problems, lower back problems. If you exercise quite a lot, if you're following a pretty intense exercise program, or if you are just exercising leisurely, then you still need to be incorporating some kind of mobility routine. Every little stressor that you put on your body, the muscle will get tighter over time, and if you're increasing your weights, if you're increasing your reps, it's all added volume, so you want to try and keep that muscle mobile, keep the tendons and the ligaments nice and supple, so it'll prevent any injuries in future. So we're going to go through a lower body routine today. If you are pretty mobile to start with, you might find that you don't need to do stretching and mobility work as often as somebody who is very sedentary, don't really stretch that much, don't follow any exercise routine and don't follow any mobility routine. So it varies from person to person and what your daily schedule looks like. Everybody's ability is going to be different as well. Movements that I'm going to show you, you might not be able to get full range of motion, that's fine. The best thing about stretching is everybody can do it. So first, because we have been sat all morning and we've been stood all morning, we've not done any exercise before this stretching session, we've just come straight into it, the muscles are going to be a little bit stiff, they're going to be a little bit tight. So we want to do some dynamic stretching, some little bit of movement to loosen the hips off, loosen the knees off, get some blood flow to these areas that we're going to stretch, so we're not going in straight away cold. So first we're going to go in with some bodyweight squats, 10 reps to start with, go as low as you can, keep pushing them knees out so your hips are sitting nice and central. And this way we're getting blood into the hips, we're using the glutes, and we're getting blood into the knees as well and the ankles, loosening them calves off a little bit. Then the second movement, what we're going to do once you've done 10 reps of them, feel your heart rate increase a little bit, we're going to go into a forward lunge. And then back, alternating legs. And what you want to try and do in these forward lunges as you get to the bottom, you want to try and keep the hips tucked under. So you'll feel a slight stretch down the front of your quad and your hip flexor. We don't want to see any arching of the lower back. You want to tuck them hips under as low as you can and push back. Same on the other side. And that is going to be enough to get a little bit of blood flow into these legs before we start to stretch the muscles and the tendons. So the first stretch that we're going to do, nice and simple. This again will look different for everyone. So first we're going to stand nice and wide, make sure you've got your feet on a non-slippery surface. If you have, then try taking your socks off. We need to hold these positions, make sure that you're safe while doing them. So nice and wide, we're going to try and touch the floor as low as you can, so you'll feel that stretch all the way down the back of your leg. If your calves are really tight, you might even feel it in your calves. And hold that position. Let your body drop all the way down. Let gravity do its thing. And hold that position. Now, a question that I get asked quite a lot is, how long do I hold these stretches for? So to really see the benefits from a stretch, you want to be holding it for at least a minute, 2 minutes, and then you're going to push that stretch even further and hold for a further couple minutes. Now you can hold it for 5 minutes, depends how comfortable you are holding that stretch. Stretching is not only stretching of the muscle, it is also incorporating strengthening of the opposing muscles as well. So if I was to come down, I can let gravity do its thing and I can let my body hang and I can feel that stretch at back of my legs. If I wanted to push it a little bit further, I would have to actively use my hip flexors and lower abs to bring my body close to my legs to get that deeper stretch and bring my body closer to the floor. So I have to actively pull myself in I'll show you from the side as well. So here I'm just hanging, but then I'm actively pulling myself down. So strength in stretching can be very important if you're wanting to progress in your positions. So we're going to go back into that straddle position. You're going to slowly come over to your left foot, hold that there for a minute, 2 minutes, and then we're going to slowly move to the middle and then over to the right foot. Hold that there for a minute, 2 minutes, back to the middle, nice deep breath. Slowly bring your feet into the middle while still touching the floor. Because we're increasing the distance away from the floor by bringing his feet into the middle, it will pull more, you will feel a deeper stretch on your hamstrings. So you might find that you're not able to touch the floor once you've brought your feet in, that's fine. And then slowly come up to standing. So what we are now going to do, now we've done a nice standing stretch and we'll let gravity do its thing, we're going to go into a seated straddle. Now this is a little bit more advanced because you are using a lot more of your core to hold that stretch. We're not going to be able to use gravity in this position. So we're going to reach forward, slowly slide the hands forward. As low as you can, you want to actively squeeze your glutes so you're keeping the legs nice and wide and keep your lower abdominals switched on. So you're pulling yourself towards the floor. This is excellent for your lower back. If you have an office job, if you sat down in the car most of the day, you know, if you travel quite a lot, this is going to be very nice on your lower back. So pull yourself forward. You might even feel it up in your neck as well whilst it's stretching all down your erector muscles, which is the muscles either side of your spine. I want you to hold that for 1 to 2 minutes and then push that a little bit further. Now if you are really struggling with this exercise, you can get a towel, you can get a resistance band, hook it around a sturdy kitchen leg, you could use someone else and pull yourself forward. So next we're going to go into some glute stretching. So we've done 2 hamstring dominant stretches, now we're going to go into some glute stretches. So if your hamstrings are really tight, you will find more than likely that your glutes are really tight as well. Now if you've got weak glutes, if you've got glutes that are pretty much non-existent, your hamstrings will be doing a lot of the work. So if your hamstrings are really tight, your glutes are probably going to be really tight as well as your lower back. So we're going to do this laid down on your back. You're going to have one leg nice and straight. You're going to hook your opposite leg in front, hands on the back of your straight leg, and then you're going to pull towards your chest. And you should feel that stretch all up the glute. Slowly release once you've got to 1 to 2 minutes. Switch sides. Ankle on your thigh, hands through both legs, and then pull towards your chest. Slowly release. If you wanted to do something a little bit more advanced, put your leg in an L position. So I've got my ankle in front, knee parallel to the ankle. And then you're going to slide your back leg nice and straight. Stay upright with the chest and hold that position. To get a bit of a deeper stretch, you can lean forward. And then switch to the other side. You will feel a stretch down the straight leg because we are lengthening the leg. The hip flexors are lengthened in this position. I'm going to slowly bring the chest down to the floor, 1 to 2 minutes in that position, and then slowly back to the top. So we've done the glutes, we've done the hamstrings, we've done a little bit of the hip flexors. Pretty much all that's left is quads, but we have a couple of stretches that we can do, which is going to stretch not only the quads, but a little bit of the hip flexors as well. So in this position, a little bit of balance is required. So if you are struggling with your balance, you can do this up against a wall. You could use someone else. You could use a pole to hold on to give you a bit of stability. So we're going to come up on one foot, so we're in a kneeling position. The knee is parallel to the hip, as is the knee on this leg. It's parallel to the ankle, so you're nice and stable. We're going to lift the back ankle, reach around. You're going to pull that foot to your hip. I like to use both hands so I can really get that heel to my glute. Now in this position as well, because we are stretching the hip flexor, what you're going to be tempted to do is arch the back to compensate. So you want to actively engage the lower abdominals to keep the hips tucked under so that we're getting a full stretch down the front of the thigh. If you are struggling holding on to your foot, what you can do is have the wall behind you, so you're nice and close to the wall, and use the wall to push your foot against your hip. So you're going to sit back on the wall with your shin up nice and parallel against that wall. And I'm going to repeat on the other side. So stretching is no joke. Stretching can still very much get your heart rate up. You are pushing past the restriction, so it's not going to feel easy. It will feel painful, but try to persevere. Carry on doing this 2 to 3 times a week. It's just the main components of being consistent, being disciplined, and getting it done, and you'll see a massive difference. So next we're going to go into a calf stretch, which is very similar to the first stretch that we did, but we're going to change the position a little bit so it's more focused on the calves rather than the hamstrings. So we're going to go into that wide straddle stance, and rather than just letting the body hang and letting gravity do its thing, we're going to come forward, still whilst keeping your heels down. It's very important that you don't let your heels come off the floor. We're going to walk into it, and we're going to drop the hips forward, keeping the heels down. To feel a deeper stretch, you can come in closer with your feet. That's going to increase the leverage, which is going to increase the stretch. If you are struggling with having your body weight on your hands, so you can do the wall calf stretch, which is very similar. And that is pretty much my lower body mobility routine. I don't really stray away from them movements. I feel like they are ones that you can really progress on, especially the straddle stretch, or the pike stretch, some people like to call it, where you're leaning forward. You can really use another piece of equipment, a towel or resistance band, to pull yourself closer and get that deeper stretch. So all of these stretches can be very easily progressed. And like I said, you are going to feel a little bit of pain. It is going to be painful. It's not going to be enjoyable. It's not going to be easy. But that's where you're pushing past your limits. That's where you're teaching your body that it is okay. And the more that you do that, the more confident you'll get in these movements, and the more you'll be able to push past them boundaries and see progress. So I know this video was a short one. We got some very basic, simple movements in there today. I'm hoping that you'll follow them, and I hope that you see progress in these movements. And I hope that these stretches also help you see progress in the gym, in your runs, in your workouts. Let me know if you've seen progress in these movements since you've been trying them. Thank you so much for watching. If you could like and subscribe, that would be greatly appreciated. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.